Intro. Jeff Chandler, Hollywood's rugged leading man with the deep, commanding voice, was one of the most recognizable actors of the 1950s. From his early days in Brooklyn to his meteoric rise in Hollywood, Chandler's life was filled with both triumphs and struggles. He was a war veteran, a stage performer, a radio star, and ultimately a silver screen icon, taking on roles that defined an era of adventure films, westerns, and war dramas. But beyond his on-screen persona, his life was shaped by personal hardships, failed relationships, and a tragic, untimely death that cut his career short at just 42 years old. Today, we're diving into the incredible story of Jeff Chandler, the man behind the legend. Childhood and family. Jeff Chandler, born Ira Grossel on December 15, 1918, in Brooklyn, New York, was the only child of Philip Grossel and Anna, née Herman. Jeff Chandler's family background was deeply rooted in Jewish heritage. His parents, Philip Grossel and Anna Herman, were Jewish immigrants who settled in Brooklyn. His father worked in the restaurant business, which provided some financial stability but did not prevent the family's struggles. His mother, Anna, played a crucial role in his upbringing after his parents' separation, ensuring that he received an education and encouraging his creative pursuits. Chandler grew up in Brooklyn, where he attended Erasmus Hall High School. Even as a student, he showed a natural talent for performing arts and took part in school plays. It was during this time that he crossed paths with Susan Hayward, another aspiring performer who would go on to become a Hollywood star. Despite his growing interest in acting, Chandler's early life was not particularly easy. He worked various odd jobs to support himself and his mother, including a stint as a restaurant cashier, an opportunity arranged by his father, who was involved in the restaurant business. Although he dreamed of becoming an actor, Chandler initially pursued commercial art, enrolling in a one-year program. He worked briefly as a layout artist, earning just $18 a week, and spent much of his free time sketching and designing. However, his passion for acting never faded. He eventually saved enough money to enroll at the Fegan School of Dramatic Art in New York, where he began honing his craft. After completing his studies, Chandler found work in radio and later joined a stock theater company, where he gained valuable stage experience as both an actor and a stage manager. His early years in the theater were spent performing in various productions, including The Trojan Horse, where he worked alongside Gordon MacRae and Sheila MacRae, who later became close friends. In the summer of 1941, Chandler took a bold step by founding his own theater company, the Shady Lane Playhouse, in Illinois. The company toured the Midwest, staging plays such as The Bad Man, Seventh Heaven, The New Minister, and Pigs. This venture, though successful, was cut short when the United States entered World War II. Chandler enlisted in the U.S. Army and served for 4 years, primarily stationed in the Aleutian Islands. His military service shaped his discipline and resilience, qualities that later contributed to his success in Hollywood. He was honorably discharged with the rank of lieutenant, marking the beginning of his transition into the entertainment industry. Jeff Chandler's career was defined by his versatility, deep voice, and commanding screen presence, making him one of the most recognizable leading men of the 1950s. Before stepping into Hollywood, Chandler honed his craft in radio and theater. After completing his studies at the Fegan School of Dramatic Art, he worked as both an actor and stage manager in stock theater companies. His passion for performance led him to establish his own theater company, Shady Lane Playhouse, in 1941, where he successfully staged productions such as The Bad Man and Seventh Heaven. However, his theater career was interrupted when he enlisted in the Army during World War II, serving for 4 years before returning to civilian life. Upon his return, Chandler found work in radio, quickly gaining recognition as the lead in the popular drama Michael Shayne. His deep, resonant voice made him a perfect fit for the medium, and he became the first actor to portray Chad Remington in the adventure series Frontier Town. His growing popularity in radio paved the way for his transition to film. Chandler made his film debut in 1947 with a minor role as a criminal in Johnny O'Clock. Though a small part, it marked the beginning of his Hollywood journey. He continued appearing in minor roles in films such as Mr. Belvedere Goes to College, The Invisible Wall, and Roses Are Red. In 1948, he gained further attention when he played Eve Arden's boyfriend in the hit radio show Our Miss Brooks. The same year, he landed a significant role in Sword in the Desert, portraying an Israeli resistance leader in what was the first American film about the early phase of the Civil War in Mandatory Palestine. His breakthrough came in 1950 when he was cast as Apache Chief Cochise in Broken Arrow. His dignified and powerful performance earned him an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor and established him as a major leading man. Following the success of Broken Arrow, Chandler became one of Universal Pictures' most dependable stars. He reprised his role as Cochise in The Battle at Apache Pass, 1952, and made a brief appearance as the character in Taza, Son of Cochise, 1954. Throughout the early 1950s, Chandler demonstrated his versatility by taking on a variety of roles. He played a Polynesian leader in Bird of Paradise, 1951, a boxer in Iron Man, 1951, and a swashbuckling adventurer in Yankee Buccaneer, 1952. He continued to build his reputation as a rugged leading man in films such as Red Ball Express, 1952, Flame of Araby, 1952, and The Great Sioux Uprising, 1953. His ability to portray strong, authoritative figures made him a favorite in historical epics and war films, including Sign of the Pagan, 1954, in which he played Emperor Marcian, and Away All Boats, 1956, a World War II drama. As his career flourished, Chandler began to feel the strain of his heavy workload. In 1954, he refused to star in Six Bridges to Cross, leading Universal to temporarily suspend him. However, he quickly reconciled with the studio and continued working on a string of successful films. He showcased his range by starring in crime thrillers like Female on the Beach, 1955, opposite Joan Crawford in courtroom dramas such as The Tattered Dress, 1957. In 1956, Chandler expanded his career into production by founding his own company, Almar Productions. His first and only production was the Western Drango, 1957, in which he also starred. Despite the film's modest success, Chandler did not pursue further projects as a producer. Around this time, he also ventured into music, performing in nightclubs and releasing several records. Though his singing career never reached the heights of his acting, it demonstrated his range as an entertainer. By the late 1950s, Chandler remained a major Hollywood star. In 1957, he was ranked as the 10th most popular male star in the United States. He continued to lead major films, starring in Gene Eagles, 1957, alongside Kim Novak, The Lady Takes a Flyer, 1958, with Lana Turner, and Raw Wind in Eden, 1958, opposite Esther Williams. He also explored television, taking on the lead role in The Story of David, 1960, which was filmed in London and Israel. His final film, Merrill's Marauders, 1962, was a World War II drama based on real-life military operations. Tragically, Chandler passed away before the film's release, bringing an abrupt end to a thriving career. His contributions to Hollywood left a lasting legacy, particularly through his performances in westerns, war films, and adventure dramas. With his rugged charm and strong screen presence, Chandler became one of the defining figures of 1950s cinema, and his work continues to be appreciated by classic film enthusiasts today. Marriage and scandal. Jeff Chandler's marriage to actress Marjorie Hushell was a significant chapter in his personal life, marked by both affection and turbulence. The couple married in 1946 and welcomed two daughters, Jamie Tucker in 1947 and Dana Grossel in 1949. At first, their marriage seemed stable, and Hushell supported Chandler as he built his career from radio into Hollywood stardom. However, as Chandler's career took off in the 1950s, cracks in their relationship began to emerge. Hushell, an actress herself, had her own career ambitions but often found herself overshadowed by Chandler's rising fame. His growing responsibilities in Hollywood, long hours on set, and frequent travels for film shoots created a physical and emotional distance between them. Chandler's deep dedication to his work became an issue in their relationship, as he spent most of his free time at his business office rather than at home. The pressure of maintaining a high-profile career and the time-consuming nature of the film industry took a toll on their marriage. By 1951, the couple had separated for the first time, though they later reconciled. Despite their attempts to maintain a stable home, their marriage remained tumultuous. In 1954, they separated again, and Hushell filed for divorce, citing Chandler's workaholic tendencies and emotional detachment. She later remarked that he was so consumed by his career that even when he was not on set, he spent all his time in his office, leading her to develop a stomach ulcer due to the stress of their strained relationship. Despite these difficulties, they reconciled once again in 1955 and attempted to repair their marriage. However, in 1957, Chandler began an affair with actress Esther Williams. The relationship became public knowledge, and it ultimately became the final breaking point for his marriage. Hachelle filed for divorce again, and the proceedings lasted nearly 2 years. During the legal battle, Chandler revealed that he had been paying his wife $1,500 per month in support and that, despite his Hollywood success, his earnings were heavily divided among his managers and agents. The divorce was finalized in June 1959, with Chandler agreeing to a lump sum payment of $100,000. He was also ordered to provide Hachelle with $2,166 per month in alimony, along with $500 per month in child support for their 2 daughters. Following the divorce, Chandler remained committed to supporting his daughters financially and maintained a relationship with them despite his busy career. Jamie Tucker and Dana Grossel largely stayed out of the Hollywood spotlight, but they grew up in the shadow of their father's fame. Though Chandler's time with his children was limited due to his demanding schedule, he was known to have deeply loved his daughters and took pride in their well-being. While the affair with Williams was scandalous on its own, it took on another layer of controversy decades later when Williams published her autobiography The $1 Million Mermaid in 1999. In the book, she claimed that she had broken off their relationship after discovering that Chandler had a personal preference for cross-dressing. She alleged that he once dressed in women's clothing in front of her, an incident she claimed shocked her and led to the end of their romance. Williams' claim caused an uproar, with many of Chandler's friends and colleagues strongly denying it. Actress Jane Russell, a close friend of Chandler, refuted the claim outright, stating, "That was the last thing I would have thought about Jeff. He was a sweet guy and certainly all man." Others in Hollywood also questioned the validity of Williams' allegations, pointing out that Chandler had consistently maintained a strong, masculine screen presence throughout his career and had never displayed any public behavior suggesting such tendencies. Despite the scandal, no evidence ever surfaced to substantiate Williams' claims, and Chandler himself never had the opportunity to respond, having passed away decades before her book's release. Many of his fans and peers dismissed Williams' statements as either exaggerated or entirely fabricated for dramatic effect. However, the allegations became a lingering aspect of Chandler's posthumous reputation, occasionally discussed alongside his Hollywood legacy. Other relationships after his divorce from Marjorie Hachelle in 1959, Jeff Chandler continued to have several notable romantic relationships. One of the most significant was with British actress Barbara Shelley. They met in 1960 while working together on A Story of David, which was filmed in London. Shelley, known as the Queen of Hammer for her roles in horror films produced by Hammer Film Productions, quickly developed a strong connection with Chandler despite the geographical distance between their respective homes. Chandler based in the United States and Shelley in the United Kingdom, the couple maintained a close relationship. They often corresponded through letters and phone calls, discussing not only their personal lives but also their shared passion for acting. Plans were made for future collaborations and visits, reflecting their commitment to nurturing their bond despite the challenges posed by their demanding careers. Their relationship lasted until his sudden death in 1961. Years later, Shelley spoke fondly of Chandler, referring to him as the love of her life. Jeff Chandler's untimely death at the age of 42 was a significant loss to the entertainment industry. In April 1961, while filming Merrill's Marauders in the Philippines, Chandler sustained a back injury during a casual baseball game with U.S. Army Special Forces soldiers who were serving as extras in the film. Determined to complete the project, he received pain-numbing injections to continue working. Upon returning to the United States, Chandler sought medical attention for his injury. On May 13, 1961, he underwent surgery for a spinal disc herniation at a hospital in Culver City, California. During the procedure, complications arose when an artery was inadvertently damaged, leading to severe hemorrhaging. An emergency operation lasting 7.5 hours was performed on May 17, during which Chandler was administered 55 pints of blood. Despite these efforts, his condition remained critical, necessitating a third surgery on May 27, where he received an additional 20 pints of blood. Unfortunately, Chandler developed a blood infection complicated by pneumonia and passed away on June 17, 1961. The aftermath of Chandler's death led to an investigation that concluded medical malpractice was a contributing factor. His children filed a lawsuit against the hospital and attending physicians, seeking $1.5 million in damages. The case was settled for $233,358, with all parties agreeing that no fault was admitted by the hospital or doctors. Chandler's funeral was attended by over 1,500 individuals, including notable figures such as Tony Curtis and Gerald Moore, who served as pallbearers. He was laid to rest at Hillside Memorial Park Cemetery in Culver City. In recognition of his contributions to the film industry, Chandler was posthumously honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame at 1770 Vine Street. Jeff Chandler's untimely death at the age of 42 was a devastating loss to Hollywood, cutting short the career of an actor who had become one of the most recognizable leading men of the 1950s. His passing not only left a void in the industry but also sparked controversy regarding the medical treatment he received.